Hello, my name is Tanya Schwartzman. Many of you know me as a pianist, a piano teacher of 40 years, the music director of the Sharon Music Academy. Over the time, people keep asking me questions about various aspects of music. This program is an attempt to answer some of them. Today we're speaking about contemporary music with our guest, Lisa Leong. She's a wonderful pianist, and her performances were broadcast on the Radio France and WGBH in Boston, recorded by National Public Radio's Performance Today. She's uniquely qualified to speak about contemporary music. She has been working with outstanding modern composers such as John Cage, Mario Davidovsky, Gunther Schuller, Alvin Singleton, and such. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
My first question is, how did you get to become a musician?
I was very fortunate in that I grew up in a very musical environment. My mother's family was musical. My aunts would come over and read music at the piano. Every time they visited, they'd play Christmas songs, Chopin, anything they could get their hands on. And my father was always playing, everything from Elvis to the Beatles. So I was very exposed to it at a very young age. And also my childhood idol was Albert Schweitzer, who was a great organist and scholar, but also a great doctor who saved many lives in Africa. And so I felt the need to follow that path. But when I got to college, I completely fell in love with music and decided that that was going to be my career.
Some people think that the greatest concert music has been created a long time ago. And modern composers have a task of writing jingles for commercials. Is this about true?
Oh no, new music is alive everywhere. Just take a look at conservatories and music departments around the country. Every complete program has a composition department, and where composition is taught alongside performance and music history, and you can get a degree in it. Composers work as educators in schools. They write music for movies. They teach in universities, and the very best are also in residence at major orchestras and opera companies all over the world. And several competitions are held all over the world all the time for new works to be commissioned and performed all the time. New music is a large part of many concert halls and concert programs. For example, the first concert, the opening concert of the season for the New York Phil, had 2 new works in it. One was commissioned by a very prominent foundation that started a prize, and every 2 years now the New York Phil will commission a very well-known composer to write a piece for them, with a very substantial prize money in it. So it's a very important part of programs and concert halls, and it's very much alive and part of our musical landscape.
I think it's very valuable information to know, because it's not that very, very well known, those facts.
Exactly, yes.
Lisa, I've noticed that you're using the word new music, not like a description, but more like a term. Is there such a style? And if it is, what is it, new music?
Well, new music as a term refers to music written somewhere in the last 50 to 75 years. Historically, it used to refer to music written after World War II in the 20th century, of course, but now we are in the 21st century. So I would say that it refers stylistically to a category, which is music that is written most recently. And in the 21st century, as we progress along, 21st century will become new music as well. So it is it stylistically refers to modern music that's written recently, relatively in history, but also written to refer to a style that is more abstract rather than traditional.
Do you have many, maybe a few bars of music that would be real new music?
Yes, of course.
Like a poster music for the new music?
Well, there are so many styles, but one of the most popular styles is minimalist music. Some of the most famous composers in this style is Philip Glass, who lives in New York, John Adams, and a great composer of modern opera, and Steve Reich, who is also a New York composer. But I can play a few bars of you of John Adams' music. It's quite, you'll be surprised how interestingly and slowly it develops over time, because although it is familiar, it doesn't progress always in the way we expect it to.
Let's listen.
All right.
Lisa, there's a notion that contemporary music is rather difficult to listen to and to comprehend. Is it always the case?
No, not necessarily. Yes, there is music that's very dissonant and maybe hard to listen to for listeners who are not used to it, but there are also music that almost, I would say, new music embraces different styles. So some of it sounds like new age music. I hate to categorize, but I'm kind of describing as we go along. Some music will sound like the music we hear in movies. Some music will sound a bit more like jazz, and some will be reminiscent of classical music, but slightly different with a modern take. So no, not all music, new music is difficult to listen to.
At some point, I guess, contemporary music will become our new classics. I know how hard is it to predict who is going to survive the generations. Take Johann Sebastian Bach, for example. At his time, he was a famous organist, but not a famous composer. It's sad to say, but even his sons, they look down on him like an old-fashioned composer. Yet most of the people think he's the greatest of all times. Is there any chance to have a little prediction who is going to be our new classic out of the 20th century composers?
Well, it's really very, very hard to say what audiences will like in the future, because obviously we can't see the future. We can see, however, what direction it's taking. And in terms of interest, there is one composer in particular. His name is György Ligeti. He's a Hungarian composer and very well known in music circles. Recently, all of his works have been recorded completely by Sony Classical label. And he died in 2007 at the age of 84. So not exactly a young age, but he's considered one of the greatest composers of the 20th century and of our generation. It is safe to say that his music will remain recognized and highly regarded in the future.
So we can add this name to 3 names that people can bet being our future classics from 20th century, such as Prokofiev, Shostakovich, and the third name,
Ligeti,
Stravinsky.
Stravinsky.
Those people, they bound to live in generations.
Right.
So you think we can bravely add Ligeti to that?
Oh yes, I'm
circle?
sure his music is very important and it's very good.
And as always, we can make predictions, but only time will tell.
Only time will tell if he will be remembered.
Do you have some music by Ligeti to play for us today?
Yes, I do. I have sections of 2 etudes, fanfares and arc-en-ciel, which means rainbow, and 2 very beautiful etudes which demonstrate some of the qualities that make his music great. And one of the other things that relates to your question about new music is I think that very good composers are very good at synthesis and bringing together different elements. And so I will demonstrate these elements to you in these pieces.
Wonderful.
In Ligeti's fanfares, he combines the idea of an African drumming rhythm and horn calls in one hand, and he interchanges these ideas between the 2 hands. It makes for an extraordinary combination. In Arc-en-Ciel, György Ligeti shows the influence of Thelonious Monk in his music. Here in this etude, he explores the beautiful colors and harmonies of jazz, and it is taken to a different level in the form of an elegy. And it's a beautiful exploration of sonority in piano playing.
Lisa, are there any local composers that we can speak about?
Oh yes, because of the rich cultural life in this area, there are many, many composers that we can listen to in concerts here in the Boston area. The older composers, Leon Kirchner, Günter Schuller, John Harbison, they're all very well known. And the younger composers are represented by composers such as Osvaldo Golijov and Michael Gandolfi, who teaches at New England Conservatory. These are all composers who've been performed and recorded by major orchestras, people such as Don Upshaw, Emanuel Ax, and Yo-Yo Ma, and many, many others.
Lisa, incidentally, we have a student of the Music Academy, Kevin Lee, that plays Graceful Rag by Bolcom. And it's a sample of our Bostonian composer, but at the same time, it's a sample of integration of tradition in new music style. So why don't we listen to Kevin? Lisa, do you know people who are dedicated to performing new music? I know that you are. Maybe you can mention somebody and tell about what you do in the field of performing new music.
Well, first of all, there are some performers like myself who almost exclusively play new music, but there are many others who are very well known who also play new music alongside traditional music. But a new music, a pianist, and I know of one very well-known one in the area, Stephen Drury. He teaches at New England Conservatory. He performs traditional music just as well as any other pianist, you know. But he also plays and is really committed to bringing new music to audiences all the time. And one of the things that I think new music performers have to do is to be really versatile, to be open to different things, to be able to, bring across something new and refreshing in a way that is exciting and completely spontaneous, and to be able to bring a great energy to something that may be very difficult on the page. You might look at it and go, oh no, this is almost impossible to play. But to somehow find a way to do it in the most engaging way so that the audiences will also like it. And because new music is sometimes hard, you are right, to understand. But it can be very rewarding if you listen to a good performance of it. So yes, it takes a great amount of commitment, versatility, and of course talent, and to bring this music across.
I know that some of contemporary music is most fun because it uses instruments in the most extraordinary way you would never think of. We have another student of the Music Academy who plays the music on prepared piano. It's an entirely different animal, I would say. Prokofiev started that trend. He uses traditional piano as a percussion, but some composers like Slanimsky, they went even farther. And without long ado, I think when Andrew's song is going to play Bells by Slanimsky, it doesn't need any explanation. It's amazing, it's completely new, it's fun, and it's very showy.
Before I play, I'm going to take this piano apart.
I know that you are married to a wonderful composer, Chris Arel. Is it fun to be married to a composer?
Yes, absolutely. It is a new thing every day for us because he's composing all the time, and he will ask me questions sometimes to get a performer's point of view and to help him think outside the box. So I get a chance to participate in a little composing myself, in that I generate ideas for him as well. But a very small part, because he does all the hard work, putting the notes down on the paper. But yes, I'm very lucky. I consider myself fortunate to be married to a composer, because both of us as musicians, we lead creative lives, and when we can fuse the two together and inform each other and just grow together as musicians, it is a wonderful combination, yes.
That's why I like our profession, because our work is infused in our lives, and we don't have to wait until 8 hours of job is over to come home and start living it. We're living it 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Did you get any chance to turn his opinion around when he was composing?
Sometimes, yes. I mean, he would write specific things for piano or violin, because I used to be a violinist. He would have questions, and I would say, well, this is not possible. Oh, this is possible, but maybe better this way. But often he's able to figure a lot of things on his own. So, yes, I would say sometimes that happens.
Lisa, it's very unfortunate that the program that we are taping doesn't give you enough time to show all your piano skills. We would love to know, when do you appear as a performer again, where we can go and listen more of your performances?
Well, this April I will be performing in the group Boston Musica Viva, which is the leading new music group here in Boston, and they will be producing and performing a chamber opera by a very well-known Boston composer, Shirish Corday, at the Boston Sci Center at Boston University on April 23rd and 24th, I believe. But there will be a performance of this opera there, and I will be playing it.
I think we'll place all your future performances, announcements about them, on the Sharon Music Academy website, so people can never miss it. It was such a pleasure having you today. I learned so much, and I've listened to wonderful music. Thank you for bringing it to us.
Thank you, Tanya.